Welcome to Transport Vlog. My name is Paul and I'm currently in the Marrickville Metro shopping centre, and behind me is a wonderful view of Trains Facility South. It's January 2022, so this is another Sydney Metro update video. There's quite a few buildings now appearing within Trains Facility South, so I'm going to start with those. Then I'll show you how the track work is progressing around Marrickville Dive Site, and then I'll finish off at Sydenham Station. In my last update back in October 2021, I showed you this map of the track layout and buildings for Trains Facility South. I have since found out that this map is out of date, so we have a new one. And here it is. The main differences are 8 sidings instead of 6, a slightly simpler track layout, and changes to the type and locations of the Trains Facility South maintenance buildings. And here is the view from the Marrickville Metro Shopping Centre car park. The building on the left will be a services building. The darker area is where the 8 stabling sidings will go. This road here will become the main access road. The concrete base now appearing on the right is for the fire control building. Next to this is the start of the logistics shed building. This footage was taken on Sunday the 16th of January 2022. This area is where the workshop will go, and to the right of that is the admin building, and behind that is the groundwater treatment plant. So I'm now going to cover the sidings and then each of the maintenance buildings in turn. Each of the 8 sidings will be long enough for 2 6-car metro trains, so that's 16 trains in total. And it looks like there is space to extend the sidings for longer trains in the future. The main access to Trains Facility South is from junctions on the northeast side of Sydenham Station. However, it is possible for trains to enter this maintenance facility from the other side as well. The sidings start just in front of the services building, which I'll cover a little later. The darker material looks like gravel, but as you look closely, you can see 4 long strips of ballast. This might indicate where the actual tracks will go. Due to the wind, this close-up footage is not quite as smooth as normal. You can now see some rails waiting to be laid, although no sign of any sleepers. The retaining wall on the far side is where the access road into Trains Facility South from the northeast shunt track will be. I'll talk about this more in a moment. I'm going to name some of the tracks to help explain things. In most cases these are my names, as I don't know the official names for each track as yet. The line that finishes just after the Bedwin Road Bridge will be called the North East Shunt Track, and this line will be called the North East Access Track. These 2 lines allow trains to enter Trains Facility South from the northeast side by running to the end of the North East Shunt Track and then reversing to access the North East Access Track. The junction into Trains Facility South starts immediately behind this black fence. Notice the end of the fence and the start of this concrete retaining wall. The northeast access track is behind this wall, and you can also see it behind this fence. You can now see the start of another retaining wall, so this track will now be between both these walls. The track then goes behind an elevated access road. And you get this strange level intersection where the road veers to the left and the northeast access track continues slightly to the right. So the northeast access track goes from here to here, whilst the access road goes from here over to here. So in effect we have a level crossing. The northeast access track then descends within the 2 retaining walls to be at the same level as the sidings. The reason for elevating both the northeast access track and the access road is not obvious to me at the moment, so if you have any ideas, please do share these in the comments below. As the line completes its descent, you can see the end of the retaining wall. Now let's take a look at the buildings, starting with the fire control room building. This is the concrete slab for the ground floor of this building. And here is an artist impression of how the finished fire control building will look. This building will also be the public facing entrance and reception for visitors. The next building is the logistics shed. The future logistics shed building is quite distinctive with its structural steel and roof sheeting. As you can see, this is one of the longer buildings. There is a small building next to the workshop, but I don't know what that is, hence the question mark. So let's move on to the workshop itself. Construction of the workshop is at very early stages, but this is where it will be. You can see some of the materials for this building here. And here is an artist impression of the completed workshop building. The logistics shed will have the same look. Next up is the admin building. The admin building is probably the most advanced. As you can see, it has 2 floors. It's built on a concrete slab with a steel frame. This building will also be the depot control centre. Here is a view of this building from Sydney Steel Road. In this artist impression image, you can see that the admin building will have similar finishes to the workshop, which is next to it. The last building within Trains Facility South is the groundwater treatment plant. This is behind the admin building and currently looks like this. And here is an artist impression of the finished building. Here is a view of the other side of this building looking from Garden Street. Notice the concrete wall that is around it. Sydenham Pit is now doing its real job, which is storing water rather than track sleepers, which is what it was doing 3 months ago. You can see the new groundwater treatment plant on the other side. Now coming into view is the new aqueduct, which I covered in detail in my March 2021 update, and behind that is the heritage listed pumping station building. There are 2 more buildings which are technically part of the dive site rather than Trains Facility South. These are the high voltage yard and the services building. Looking from the Bedwin Road Bridge, the high voltage yard is closest and the services building is behind it. Here is a closer view of the construction work for the HV yard buildings. And here is an artist impression of both the HV and the services buildings. This is looking at the end of the HV building from a gap in the fence. Here are some views of the services building from the Marrickville Metro Shopping Centre car park. And here is a close-up from the Bedwin Road Bridge. And here is an artist impression of how the services building will look when it's finished. Let's now take a look at how the track laying is progressing on the northeast side of Sydenham Station. Back in October 2021, the lines coloured in black had already been laid. By January 2022, track laying was completed on both the northbound and southbound lines between Sydenham Station and the Marrickville Dive Site tunnels. This line here is the other end of the northeast shunt track that runs to just beyond the Bedwin Road Bridge. As mentioned earlier, this line provides alternative access to Trains Facility South from the other side. Since October 2021, this line has been extended slightly. This line here needs a name, so I'm going to call it the Southwest Shunt Track. This line ends in Sydenham Station, close to the new entrance on Railway Parade, although it doesn't have a platform. Its purpose is to allow trains to switch between some of the different sidings without having to access the northbound line. It might also be used to temporarily stable a train at Sydenham Station. In the last 3 months, this line has been extended to just beyond the pumping station. The only other change is a new junction on the northbound line that provides another access into Trains Facility South. It's possible that this junction was in place in October 2021, but not visible. So I'm now going to show you all this new track from a train. So now leaving Sydenham Station on a train towards St Peters. You can see the new lifts for platform 1 and 2 and 3, along with the new stairs going down to these platforms as well. This footage has been slowed down to around a quarter of the normal train speed. This is to make it easier for you to identify all the work that is going on here. You can see the extended Sydney Metro platforms and the protective glass screens to prevent passengers from accessing the track. These will be used on any parts of the platform that do not have access to the train, including between the platform screen doors. The platforms themselves are made of precast concrete. You can now see 3 tracks. These are the southbound line, the northbound line, and the southwest shunt track. This electrification mast marks the start of the crossover junction. You can see parts of the crossover junction now. The southbound line is partially hidden by the middle conduit in the fence. This electrical mast marks where the crossover junction ends. The southwest shunt track is still there, and you get occasional glimpses of it through the fence. Just before this next electrical mast, you can see a junction on the northbound line which leads to the southwest shunt line, which then continues into Trains Facility South. Also at this location, another junction, this time on the southbound line, allows the northeast shunt track to join this line. As the pumping station building comes into view, you can see the northeast shunt line clearly veering off from the southbound line. And right in front of the pumping station, you can see the other end of the junction that connects the northbound line with the southwest shunt track. So we are now here on the map. At this location there is another junction on the northbound line which also leads into Trains Facility South. You cannot see it from a train in this direction, but you can from the other direction. Now back in the original direction, and you can see the southwest shunt line as it veers away towards Trains Facility South. It currently ends where this excavator truck is. The line with the extra rails is the southbound line. The northbound line is just about visible here. Closest to the fence is the northeast shunt track, which currently ends just here. Now passing the last overhead wire mast before the tunnel entrance, and the track and sleepers for both the north and southbound lines are very visible here until they get covered in ballast. Now approaching the start of the descent into the tunnels, and if you look closely you'll see the track bed changing from ballast and sleepers to concrete. There are lots of trucks and machinery here. If you know the purpose of any of them, do share this in the comments below. I'm very curious about the purpose of this little yellow machine here. Now coming into view is this roof that used to house a gantry crane, and this crane was used to get materials into the tunnels. Notice the scaffolding just here. I'm not sure what this is for. If you do know, please share this in the comments below. The entrance to the tunnels is just here. You can now see the two concrete walls that contain the northeast access track. Here is the other end of this access road that I mentioned earlier. And just here is where it crosses the northeast access track, before descending within the two concrete walls to join the northeast shunt track at this junction here, which has already been laid. Now coming into view is the services building. Notice how the northeast shunt track is sandwiched between two black fences. That's to protect it from the high voltage building that's now appearing, as well as the Sydney Trains rail corridor on this side. Now approaching the end of the high voltage building construction and the end of the construction site itself. Notice how the northeast shunt track continues to go under Bedwin Road, and then finishes on the other side just here. Now on a train back to Sydenham, this time at normal line speed. I'll use this to recap some of what you've seen so far and also to point out anything new. Here is the start of the northeast shunt track. Here is the HV yard, followed by the services building. Now the junction for the northeast access track into Trains Facility South. Now the dive site tunnel entrances, and the lines now ascending to the surface. You can see the admin building and the groundwater treatment plant building in the background, and the first electrification mast. And now the various junctions into Trains Facility South. This includes the northeast shunt track, which is now joining the southbound line. And now between these two masts is the crossover junction. You can now see the emergency exits from the platform, and now the platforms themselves with the platform edge screens. And now you can see the canopies for platforms 1 and 2 and how they integrate seamlessly with the Aerial Concourse roof. Now at Sydenham Station, here is a look at platforms 1 and 2, complete with the platform screens. Metro trains will run through this part of the platform and then stop on the new straight section that you saw a moment ago. The scaffolding on platforms 1 and 2 might be in preparation for installing the platform screen doors. You also get a good view of the platform 1 lift and the top of the stairs from here too. These stairs lead to platform 1, but also to the new railway parade entrance, which I covered in detail in my October 2021 update video. So the question that's probably on your mind is, has the new Aerial Concourse opened? Well, the answer is no. Let's hope it is going to open at some point in 2022. My understanding is that most of this Aerial Concourse, along with one or both of the new station entrances, could open well before Sydney Metro starts in 2024. I guess we'll have to wait and see what happens. Let's finish with another view of the new lift to platforms 2 and 3. So this concludes my update on all the work that is happening at Marrickville Dive Site, Trains Facility South and Sydenham Station as of January 2022. If you enjoyed this video, do give it a like, give it a thumbs up, and do leave a comment or question below. I'll do my best to answer any questions. If you haven't already subscribed to the Transport Vlog YouTube channel, then please do, and also consider supporting me on Patreon. There's a link below in the description. So I'd like to thank you for taking the time to watch this video, and I look forward to seeing you in the next one. Bye for now.